Hello everybody and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out something called Discoverie by developers Matt Hall and Ben Weatherall. This is a game that was designed for the 7-day FPS challenge back in 2013, and it's a game that I intended on covering several times, and every time I went to do it, I got distracted by something else, and I ended up just never getting around to it, but I found it again. It's become back in the forefront of my attention, and today we're going to check out Discoverie, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this quite a bit. It's a first-person exploration slash dungeon crawl style thing, and it's infinitely procedurally generated, so every time you play, you're going to get a different experience. You can walk on indefinitely in any direction, to some degree, I suppose. There are going to be some dead ends, but for the most part, the cavern will just keep expanding as you go, and it's largely an exploratory game in that you're going to spend a lot of time just kind of taking in the environment, trying to meet and interact with new creatures and different setups for things, and trying to discover some keys while also staying alive, because there is actually a shooter element to this as well, and if you do find yourself in a particularly bad situation, you might end up getting trapped by some monsters and not find your way out. So why don't I click here for secrets, which is the code word for start the game. I actually quite like that that's the mentality that we're going into things with. We're going to be looking for secrets right from the very first thing we see. So our one instruction, press left bumper or tab to show map. So I guess if you were using the 360 controller, I'm going to use mouse and keyboard for this since it seems fairly intuitive. And we're going to have a look around. So here's our map. And there's some really nice graphical effects that are happening here, and they're a little bit subtle. Like, if you don't really pay attention, you might miss them. There's actually a little bit of a noise filter going on over everything that seems to lend a little bit of weight as well. There's also a blur thing that's happening, although, again, very subtle. If you look towards the focal point versus the edges of the screen, you'll notice certain things tend to be a little bit blurry, but not drastically or anything. I think it just gives you, a feeling of presence in the environment. So you'll see we've got a crossbow. We can load that up and fire it, and it shoots a bolt that has a little bit of a light source attached to it. There's also a bunch of various things stuck to the walls that also cast their own light. Some of them are actually able to be interacted with. It looks like this particular light sconce or torch does not happen to be breakable. But that is part of the fun, though, is discovering what exactly is around that we can touch and play with. And there's all kinds of crazy creatures that we're going to run into. This guy in particular is not so dangerous. And I should warn you, I have played probably about 20 minutes of this walking around, trying to get a feel for things. And I haven't actually been in any danger from this guy as far as I'm aware. And you'll see at the top right corner of our map, that is the health and then key number. So if I walk into this guy, just to make double sure, yeah, he is not going to harm us. And what about over here? These guys, though, these little dust balls is what I've been calling them. They're a little bit less forgiving, and they will actually mess you up if you give them the opportunity. So let's do a little bit of walking around, and I see a picture frame hanging up here on the wall. We can definitely shoot that down. No secrets hidden behind it, however. And we've got a solid wall that I don't believe we can do anything with. I'll try shooting it just in case. Nope. And did you notice that detail that your crossbow actually turns as you get near a solid surface? It's a pretty nice detail that I think a lot of people don't actually put in for shooters and things like that. Because it's just like, it's a little thing that gives you a feeling of presence when you're walking around against walls that, without it, you just would clip through. And I mean, granted, you could kind of clip through a little bit, but it wasn't so bad. I'm trying to just see if maybe placing this box on what appears to be a slightly elevated floor tile might actually do something. It doesn't appear so, and also the bolts don't actually seem to knock it anywhere, so I guess we'll leave that alone. What about this chair? I could probably shoot this, right? Gotta hit it. No? Okay. Bolts actually seem to go right through, but I can knock it around with my presence. How about that? Nope. Nothing there. I did hear a sound, though. Where did that come from? Oh, it's probably this guy over here is trying to sneak in while I'm not paying attention. Uh-oh. Did I take damage? No, we're still good at 6. I'll try and leave the map on in a little bit so we can get a good sense of where we're going, but I just want to clear out this area first before I find myself in any kind of danger, because stuff will sneak up on you. I've had it happen. I've also had some pretty spooky things happen, and I don't know if this was maybe just me hallucinating it, but I'm pretty sure one of these times I walked into a room and there was one of these skulls, and it was like in one side of the room, and then I turned around and it was like right behind me as if it was getting closer, like one of the weeping angels from Doctor Who or something. It kind of freaked me out a little bit. Again, I might have just been making that whole thing up, but it felt to me like it wasn't there, and then I turned around, oh god! Yeah, so those little cocoons sometimes have keys in them, but that time it had enemies, so we gotta be a little careful with that. So if we go through here into Ice World, there is an angry penguin, and also whatever this is. They remind me a little... Oh, that one is tougher than normal. What do they remind me of? There's some creature that they feel reminiscent of from, like, an old DOS game or something. Was it the ZZT guys or something like that? I don't actually remember. Uh-oh. Okay, we got a room full of angry penguins. I've had ones that have taken, like, 4 shots to kill. Maybe 3 or 4 shots. But, yeah, you don't want to end up with those and no room to backpedal. So you got to be a little bit cognizant of our surroundings as well. When I was first starting out, I just had a huge amount of those, like, kind of passive creatures that were around everywhere, and I didn't really understand what was going to be an enemy. Oh, geez. What was going to be an enemy and what was going to be safe. I was kind of thinking maybe, like, is this a game where the crossbow is largely, like, a tool to interact with the environment or something? But no, it actually turns out there's quite a few enemies here as well. Let's keep walking around. Anybody over here? No. And let's bring up the map so you can get a good idea. See, the organic areas that we're walking through that were more like cave systems are very easy to find on the map. They always seem to have this, you know, sprawling quality to them. They seem to not have the square boundaries of many of the other rooms that we've walked through. Anybody? I hear something. I like these mushrooms quite a bit. I'm a little sad that you can't jump. I was really kind of looking forward to some level of verticality in this. And as far as, like, procedurally generated games go, I mean, aside from, like, Minecraft, I can't think of a lot of games that really go nuts with verticality. It seems like a lot of them tend to stick to, you know, one axis, which I think for the sake of programming probably makes things a lot easier. But, you know, this game reminds me a little bit of a couple of games that I haven't really spent much time with, Delver and Eldritch, both of which have a kind of boxy, almost like Minecraft story map quality look to them, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way at all. I think there's... Whoa, what was that about? Freaking picture just flew at my face. I think there's plenty of room for different ways that you can play around with ideas and mods and stuff in Minecraft. It's just not a thing that I've necessarily done a lot with, but I certainly grant that there's plenty of opportunity there for some really interesting stuff. And in fact, if I had more cognitive faculties about me and the ability to script things in JavaScript, I would probably enjoy trying to make some mods and story maps myself in Minecraft. This is a bit of a tangential thing, obviously, but I do definitely grant that an art style like this could be very well used. And in fact, I really like the simplicity of this. You're not bogged down with all kinds of crazy things happening. You're kind of just, you're in the moment. It's definitely a bit on the peaceful side, and unfortunately I'm not getting much in the way of soundtrack, but I believe there was a point where I was getting some really nice kind of hypnotic stuff going in the background as well. Maybe I hallucinated that too. Okay, back off. We got a lot of dust guys here. They're reminding me of, what is it, the little dust mite ball characters from the Studio Ghibli movies. I think it was in Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke, at least, if not more than those. There's just these, like, little ball creatures with little white eyes, and they would come and swarm around. And usually they were nice, though. These guys are a little bit more malevolent, at least as far as I can tell. I don't want them to touch me. That's all I know right now. Can we find a gate, maybe, somewhere to use this key? I appreciate that they're a bit slow-moving, because I wouldn't want to get swarmed by these guys. And if I don't have much time to see what's coming, that could easily happen, since they seem quite numerous at moments. And if if I do badly on that, could end up with quite a few of them all swarming at the same time. There we go. Cleared. I do wonder a little bit, though, once you understand how this all works, if maybe you're not really going to be in a lot of danger for the most part. Maybe there's more dangerous things that happen if you continue exploring, and you get very far away from the origin point. I'm not really sure myself if there's much more creepy stuff or scary stuff that happens, but I did see a picture of what looked kind of like a polar bear boss that I would like to run into to see how that goes. I say boss only because it looked very large. I have no idea if it's actually a boss. But I'm super into the atmosphere of this game. I was kind of hoping there were more areas to explore, though. I feel like already, for the most part, we've seen a lot of what this has to offer, which I'm a little sad about. just because I really like the idea, and I would love for this to be the type of thing that would really last for a very, very long time. Hey, we found another key. Awesome. So now we've got 2 keys, and I don't see a lot of things we can use the keys on, but I'm hoping that at one point we're going to run into a couple of gates, and maybe I could demo that out. Since it's a procedurally generated game, you could pretty much go in any direction. You're about equally as likely to run into the same sort of level generation, as far as I can tell, which, again, is one of those things that I kind of wish maybe was a little bit more curtailed in some way. Like, maybe have it be that if you go to the east, you'll find certain types of things. You go to the west, you'll find other types of things. At least give it some variability, because right now it kind of feels like, really kind of wherever you go, it's all going to be the same grouping of templates. And like I said, that can be a little bit, I don't want to use the word boring, but it can definitely water down the experience after a while of seeing the same stuff. Especially with no verticality, like I said. If there's options to go up or down, that at least kind of breaks things up, right? But if you just have the same layout in every direction, well, things sort of end up feeling samey. Which is one area, again, where I think Minecraft does really well with that sort of thing. The procedural generation in every direction works really well. But I also don't really expect someone to make a game that's equivalent to Minecraft in like 48 hours. I can't actually remember how long the 7-day FPS challenge was. It might have been longer than 48 hours. Maybe that one was like a week long, because, you know, making FPSs in a very short amount of time seems slightly unlikely. If you were wondering also, I can go nuts with the crossbow. I forget if I showed this already, but yeah, it's basically rapid fire. If you get overwhelmed, you can just basically turn it into fully automatic. Well, semi-automatic, because I have to click each time. But it is definitely capable of outlaying some pain. Oh, that was, I guess, a boss penguin, so that gave us a key. I don't know what all these targets, exclamation points, are warning us about. Maybe it's just telling us that there's enemies? I mean, I knew that those were there. There's also no... Oh, hello. There's no run button either, so sometimes you end up having to retread some old ground, which can be a little bit on the drab side too, just because there's not really a whole lot dynamic going on through them. If there was like some waterfall tiles or stuff that happened on the sides, or, you know, something kind of animating going on aside from just these little simple things like these candles and light sources and stuff, you know, that actually isn't bad itself. But maybe have some of them play off of each other, have some colored lighting. I mean, there is a little bit. Is that supposed to be a... Oh, that's a trap, isn't it? I guess getting hit by that took a damage away, or a health away from me. So I should probably be a little bit more careful. I didn't even realize that was a trap when that was happening. Should play a little bit more scary of a sound. Alright, let's keep going. I really wonder what these are about. Like, I don't think I've found a way to interact with them. What if I, like, try and shoot one of these picture frames over... No, totally landed on it. Didn't really do anything, though. I hear weird sounds happening, but I don't know why. Sometimes I wonder if the weird sounds are actually... Oh, okay, it's this guy. Never mind. Sometimes it kind of seems like they're just nothing. Like, this just sort of... Like, a thing fell somewhere, and it didn't really matter one way or the other. I'd also really love to use these light sources on the ends of my arrows a little bit more. Like if maybe there was some dark rooms occasionally that I'd need to actually shoot around the room to see in. Since there's no ammo or anything, like I could really just use this stuff indefinitely. You know what I wonder happened with that skull story? Maybe one of these guys came in and pushed the thing, and then I killed it and didn't realize that it was able to affect the landscape around me or something? That seems about as likely as anything that I could come up with. I hear more enemies. What are these vents on the walls? These do anything? Not really, huh? I'd also kind of like to be able to zoom back out in the map and see how far I've come, because it seems like I've wandered quite a ways in this direction, and I can't even see where my point of origin was. You can always go back, I suppose, if you want to really retrace your steps forever. You can find the pedestal that I started out on. I wonder if I shoot these guys, if they're going to aggro on me. They all turn around and look at me, and it's kind of creeping me out a little bit. Maybe just as an experiment, I should probably try shooting one. Yeah, I kind of have to hit... Oh, yeah, alright, that's a real bad idea. That's why you don't shoot those guys. And we've made our discovery, don't shoot the passive dudes. It seemed like the best idea, and maybe they're just there in case you're shooting other stuff and they get in the way, or maybe they get aggroed by something else and then they come after you. It certainly makes things substantially harder once those are all trying to attack you at the same time. I like them more peaceful anyway. So that's going to be Discovery. Feel free to go check this out yourself if you'd like to. There's going to be a link in the description, and it's an each.io game, so it's available for pay what you want. I definitely recommend and just throw the developer a little bit of support if you can. It's always appreciated. Anybody that has cool ideas like this, I love to see more people find out about their games and do whatever people can to help them get by, because it is often the case that I think developers need, well, a little tip every now and then, never hurt anyway. So, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, because that helps me out a whole bunch, and let me know what you think about this one in the comments, as you always tend to. I like to keep the discussion going. What would you like to have seen to make this a more complete project, or what could be changed, what could be rearranged, anything like that? If you're a developer or just a viewer, I love to take everybody's opinions into consideration, and I think a lot of times developers do run into these videos, so it's kind of nice to have a little back and forth there as well. So, let me know what you think, like I said, and I will see you for the next one. New episodes of Indie Impressions go up every single day. I look forward to bringing you more ad infinitum, and if you're still into the series, make sure you let me know, because I do appreciate the support in that respect as well, especially in the fall where people get back to work and school and things, and, you know, viewer numbers tend to sink quite a bit. I definitely appreciate knowing there's still people watching and enjoying things, and you guys have been very, very great with letting me know that in the past, so, you know, keep that support coming. I appreciate it very much, and I will see you back for another one tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Have a great night.